This is our river project video. The water starts flowing from the source of the river and continues to flow down throughout the entire river. In the red circle, you can see the neck of the river, which is a narrow piece of land in between two curves. Right here, you can see a winding curve or bend in our river. This is called a meander. If you compare the water at the end of the river to the water at the beginning of the river, you can see that the water at the end of the river is flowing much faster. This is an example of the water velocity. You can also see that the water inside of the meanders flows faster than the rest of the water. This creates a cut bank to be created because the erosion here is stronger due to the faster flowing water. A cut bank is a steep, bare slope or nearly vertical cliff that forms along the outside of a riverbed. This leads to our next feature, the point bar. A point bar is a crescent-shaped ridge of sand and gravel that forms inside a river bend and has deposition. At the top of our river, you can see that an oxbow lake has formed. An oxbow lake is a U-shaped body of water that forms when a river's meander is cut off. At the beginning of our model, water was flowing out of this area, but it no longer is, proving that it's now an oxbow lake because it's a body of water on its own. The next feature in our river model is the channel, which is the clear path where the river flows through the water. Along the sides of the channel, you can find our next feature, the banks. The banks are the areas of land alongside or sloping down to a river. At the bottom of our river, you can see the delta, which is created when a river separates into different pieces and flows into a larger body of water. At the end of the delta is the mouth of the river. Our next feature is the floodplain, which is a flat area of land adjacent to a river that floods whenever the river overflows its banks. The floodplain in our river can be seen in the highlighted area where the banks are lowest to the river, making it easier to overflow. At the top of our river, you can see the bayou, which is a slow-moving creek or a swampy area of our river. Finally, we have the cutoff of the river. The cutoff is a natural shortcut that shortens a river's course, usually occurring at the meander. And that's the identification and creation of our river model. Part 2. Young, mature, and old rivers. In our second river model, characteristics of a young river can be seen, such as having no meanders and having a fast flow. Young rivers usually have a high gradient, a steep slope, and a V-shaped valley. Young rivers have a low discharge. Another characteristic of a young river that can be seen in our model is that they have a low sinuosity, meaning that they have very few meanders. One real-life example of a young river is the Colorado River, which flows through the Grand Canyon. The characteristics of a young river that can be seen in the Colorado River are a steep gradient, narrow sides, and a V-shaped valley. Mature rivers have a lower gradient than a young river does, therefore they are less steep. They also have a gentle slope. Mature rivers have a less defined V-shape than young rivers do. Mature rivers have a higher discharge than young rivers. Additionally, mature rivers have a medium to high sinuosity. One example of a mature river is the Thames River, located in the UK. Old rivers have a low gradient, therefore a gentle slope. The valley shape of an old river is a flattened V. Old rivers have a high discharge. They also have a high sinuosity, therefore more meanders. One real-life example of an old river is the Nile River. The characteristics of an old river that can be seen in the Nile River are a high sinuosity, a low gradient, and a broad floodplain.